Hello, friends. It's Kelly coming to you with a little bit of a shorter restorative sequence today. This is really good for stress relief. We are going to move a little bit just at the beginning, just to kind of warm up the joints and just do some feel good motions for the neck. But eventually we will settle in to more of a restorative practice. So, restorative yoga is a beautiful practice, so good for stress relief. Takes our body out of the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight, and takes it into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. So, we can do this by taking these shapes with a lot of support and basically just relaxing and not having to worry about anything. It's a great practice to take at any time in the day. You can take it in the morning to kind of get yourself moving. You could take it at night to slow things down, or you could take it if you have a break during the day. So I did include a link to just a short playlist of just some nice restorative music, but you could totally pick your own. So you could just play some nice spa music or some nature songs. It's better to use music that doesn't have words in it so that we're not constantly kind of listening in to hear words or lyrics. So props are highly recommended in restorative yoga. If you don't have props, you'll be okay. But for today's short practice, I'm going to use a bolster. You could also use pillows or any kind of cushions. It doesn't really matter. You could play with the size a little bit. And then I do like to use a blanket. We're going to use those to pad the knees and also just a little bit at the beginning. So I've got my blanket set out kind of long and low. Feel free to start the playlist if you're using mine or your own music. So we are going to start out in a crocodile pose. So that's lying face down on the belly. So I know for everyone that crocodile pose just doesn't work. So if lying flat on your belly is just not in the realm of things that you want to do or you're uncomfortable doing that, start on your back and just lie on your back. You could have a bolster underneath the knees if you need support for the lower back. You'll be able to find variations of this first shape, basically the same thing we're going to do. It's just a different orientation. So we'll go ahead and settle in and I'll show you crocodile pose. So you lie down on your belly and I'm going to bring this blanket. So it's about, I'm in the middle of it. So my belly button's kind of in the middle of the blanket. I'm going to use this to pad my knees. So it would be great even if you had a blanket that was a little bit longer. Stack the palms, place the right hand on top of the left, and then place the forehead on the stacked palms. Know that you can also make a fist if you need to be up a little bit higher or that's more supportive. And just begin to settle in here. So the heels can just fall away from one another or be up. It doesn't matter how far apart the legs are either. So just kind of feel yourself attached to the earth here and begin to slow things down. So no matter what time of day it is, we always have a lot kind of coming at us. And this posture, when we're face down, helps us to kind of slow everything down and to turn inward. Notice how perhaps you can feel your breath a little bit more than usual because your body's attached to the earth, so you can feel the breath coming in and out through the nose. And maybe you start to deepen and slow down the breath a bit. Just taking things easy here. We'll move right away into allowing the hips to open a little bit. So just take the right knee and bring it up towards the right elbow. So I'm going to bring my knee onto the blanket so that it's padded, but if you don't have one, that's okay. So this is half frog pose. So here, my hip and my knee are even, my knee and my ankle are even, and you can find whatever variation of this works for you. If you're on your back, you'll find tree pose on the floor. So basically, you'll just let your right knee come out and rest down and maybe have the right sole of the foot close to the left thigh. And just breathe here for a couple moments in half frog. So again, we're just opening the hips a little bit here, kind of preparing the body for some of the shapes we're going to take today. And these are just nice feel-good exercises that you can take as well. All right, from here we have the option. You can make a fist with the right hand, place it on top of the left, and then turn your head to the right. You're going to use your knuckles kind of into the side of your jaw, just very gently giving yourself a little self-massage here. So it's amazing how much tension that we hold in the jaw without even realizing it most of the time. So just take some gentle circles here. Again, we don't want this to hurt. We want it to feel good. You can kind of move up and down the jaw. Until I did this the first time, I didn't realize that I was actually sore in this area. Beautiful. And you can go ahead and release that. We'll come back into crocodile pose. So just let that right leg come long. You can flip the hand. So now the left hand is on top of the right and bring the forehead down. So just take a couple of moments to reset, and then we'll take that series on the second side. So as you're ready, half frog with the legs. So just bring that left knee up towards the left elbow. And again, you can kind of line things up here if you want, but it doesn't matter to what degree you're open. If you want to be a little bit less open or a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. Find the feedback that your body's giving you of what feels good for you and adjust. So this shouldn't feel painful. This should just feel a nice, gentle opening one side at a time. Know that if you have one side that's not as open or doesn't want to open, you don't have to do it. Just skip it. Always modify as you need. Don't feel like you have to make things the same on both sides. Again, we have the option to take that jaw massage. So make a fist with the left hand and then turn your head to the left and just kind of massage the knuckles along the jawline. Beautiful, yogis. And we'll come one more time back into crocodile pose. So just let the legs come long and stack the palms, the forehead on the stacked palms. Beautiful. And next we'll come into Sphinx pose. So I'm going to turn to the front to show you this one. The blanket could stay underneath the hips if you'd like, but it doesn't have to. If you've been on your back and you want to join us for Sphinx, feel free. So this time the elbows are underneath the shoulders here. We're not going to be here for long. Know that if you bring your elbows under your shoulders and your lower back feels pinchy at all, then I want you to walk your elbows a little bit away from your body. So taking that a little bit less of a back bend. And then just let your chin drop in towards your chest. Taking some gentle neck circles, left ear towards left shoulder. Chin down and center, right ear, right shoulder. Keeping the chin down, just take this lower rotation of that circle a couple of times. Always being cautious with the neck, taking your time. If something feels good, feel free to linger there. And then slowly come to center, let your chin come parallel. And you have the option to stretch the chin up a little bit this time if you'd like. So stretching out the front of the neck here. Maybe you're just gazing up. Beautiful. And then the chin comes back parallel. Come back down, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just gently press yourself up. We're going to meet in a seated position. So you can sit on the blanket or sit on a prop if you would like. We're going to find Sukhasana. So walk your feet a little bit farther away from your hips. So open this out. Many times we kind of tuck our heels underneath us, and this can cause pins and needles and for you to lose circulation. So I actually want you to open it up a little bit more here. So thinking your shins are parallel to the short edge of your mat. As you're ready, inhale, circle the arms up. We'll take some gentle side stretches. As you exhale, bring your right hand down and reach your left fingertips across. Just feel a nice side body stretch. Inhale, come up through center, and exhale, we'll take it to the other side. Left hand down, reach the right fingertips. Again, not pushing this, just letting this feel good, a little stretch in the side body. As you inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, bring your fingertips behind you. So your fingertips are pointing towards the front of the mat. And then just gently lift your chest up any amount and let your shoulders draw back. Lengthen the sides of the neck. So drop the shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. Release that and then lean back a little bit more and uncross the legs and recross them the opposite direction to keep things even. As you inhale, gently reach your arms up. And as you exhale, we'll take a little twist. Bring the right hand behind the body. The left hand comes to the right knee. Just a gentle twist. So we're not trying to force anything. We're not trying to leverage anything. Just gently twisting. Come back through center. You can reach up if you'd like, and then we'll take the twist the other way. This time, left hand behind the body, right hand, left knee. Again, releasing your twist. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, bring your hands down. Uncross the legs and sit to the side. We're going to meet in a tabletop position. So I'm going to bring the blanket to pad my knees because eventually we're going to be here for a little bit longer. So you might want to have a little bit of padding underneath the knees. If you'd like also, you'd want to grab a bolster. We'll use it in just a moment. We are just going to take some motion here in the spine before we go into our first real true restorative shape. So bringing the knees onto the blanket, we find tabletop position. So the hands or the wrists are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips. Let's take some rounds of cat and cow just to undulate the spine. So as you inhale, just gently drop the belly, look up, your tailbone reaches up. This is cow pose. And then exhale, gently bring your chin into your chest, round the spine, and tilt your tailbone down. This is cat. Inhale, drop the belly, look up, tailbone up. And exhale, chin to chest. Beautiful. Take that a couple more times on your own breath. Feel free to add in any motion if you would like. Cat and cow is just a really nice, feel-good practice to take. And as you're ready, we'll meet in a neutral spine. We're going to work into our first restorative shape. It's going to be a restorative child's pose or balasana. Now, if you already know that child's pose is not for you, you don't like being face down, know that you can lie on your back and take a reclined butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana. So that would be the soles of the feet together with the knees out wide. Basically, just a different orientation of what we're doing here. So the padding underneath the knees oftentimes helps. You can also bring a bolster or a blanket behind the knees. So in between the thighs and the knees, this can be more supportive sometimes depending on what your knee issue is. You should never feel sensation in the knees. If you are, then I want you to take a different orientation. Now you decide how far apart your knees are. If you'd like to be open a little wider, that's absolutely fine, maybe a little bit more narrow. The big toes touch. Begin to let your hips come down towards your heels. Now I like to bring a bolster in between my legs so I can support my body on the bolster. And you're going to turn your head to one side. So the arms can just be down by the sides. If you don't want to use a bolster, you don't have to. Maybe you're more open and you can come all the way down. You can also, again, stack the palms with fists if you'd like, or just have stacked palms with the forehead down. Working into your restorative child's pose. Taking the time just to soften into this, to surrender, letting the props completely support you. So supported child's pose is a restorative forward bend. This one helps to calm the mind. Kind of slows things down. It can oftentimes release tension in the lower back and the hips. This one also helps to balance our root chakra, which is our lowest chakra at the base of the spine, and the sacral chakra, which is the chakra in the pelvis. Yogis, let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose Open the mouth, exhale, and release. About halfway through our time in our first restorative shape, so go ahead and turn your head the other direction if your head is turned. Just a gentle neck passive stretch. So we spend time in these restorative postures to allow the body to relax, to settle in. So you want to try to limit the stimulus. So perhaps you're hearing a little bit of music, but I will mostly stay silent during your poses or your shapes so that you can relax. Yogis, let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. Begin to walk the hands back in towards the body and slowly rise up. No rush here. You can move the bolster over to your right side. And then you can sit to the side. Sitting on the blanket is absolutely fine. And bring the feet out in front of you. Let the feet plant down, and for a moment, we're just going to take a little bit of a counter stretch here. So we've had our hips open. We're just going to let the knees tent closed for a moment. So just kind of balancing out that opening with a little bit of internal rotation now. If you'd like a little movement here, one knee at a time, you can bring one knee in towards the center, the other falls away. So this is called windshield wiping, and this is a really, really nice, just gentle movement to take to release tension in the lower back. So if you ever feel like you have tension in the lower back, this is a good one to take. Beautiful, yogis. So we're going to work into our next shape. We're only taking two today. So this is going to be deer twist. So again, I like to have a blanket underneath my body because I want to pad my knees. I'm going to open my blanket out a little bit so it has a little bit more space. And then as you're ready, just like that windshield wipe action we just took, you're going to let your knees fall over to the right. Now, how you want to take this is up to you. So we could be in more of what's called a mermaid twist. So these would be mermaid legs here. So my knees are in a little bit closer. I've kind of fit the inside of my ankle in towards the instep of my opposite foot. And I have the bolster right at my hip, and this bolster is going out from my body. So this bolster, your knees are to the right, so this bolster would be on your right hip. So you could be here, or you could also open this up a little bit into more of deer legs. So if you want to get just a little bit more work done, or this feels good to you, you can find kind of a 90-90 shape, or kind of like a pinwheel. So the hip and the knee line up, maybe the knee and the ankle. Same thing on the back, the hip and the knee, ankle. You can open it up a little bit or close it back into mermaid. Find what works for you. And then walk your hands towards either side of the bolster. You can bring the bolster in and very slowly, or pillows, lower yourself down onto the elbows, and then lower the head down so that you're facing the same way as the bent knees. And the arms can do whatever they'd like, and it depends on how much pillow here you want. Now, if you get here and this is automatically starting to cause some pain or some pulling in the sacrum or the sacroiliac in the lower part of the back, I want you to lessen the twist. So I want you to bring the bolster more towards this front knee. And you'll have less twist here, and that might make that more comfortable. But if you can tolerate it and it's not causing pain, then you can find the twist this way. So beginning to settle into deer or mermaid twist. So this is a restorative twist. It helps to nourish the spine, helps to bring blood flow to the intervertebral discs. Twists are also very good for digestion and elimination. They also balance the yin and the yang energy in our bodies. As you settle into the first side of deer pose, I have a reading for you. This is from Melody Beattie's book, Journey to the Heart. And this one is called Trust the Guidance Will Come. Trust and act on the guidance you have now. Some parts of our lives appear like a long paved highway. We can see exactly where to go. We have a panoramic view. Other times, it may feel like we're driving in the dark with only one headlight on a winding road through the fog. We can only see a few feet in front of the car. Don't worry if you can't see that far ahead. If you only have a glimmer of light to guide your path, slow down. Listen to your heart. Guidance will come. Trust what you hear. Do the small thing. Take that one step. Go as far as you can see. Then go back to your heart and you'll hear the next step. It may be a step of immediate action or deliberate inaction. Sometimes you may have to quiet down, wait, and prepare yourself to hear what you're to do next. Trust and act on the guidance you have now, and more will come. Friends, take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. Gently bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Begin to press yourself up. Again, take your time here. No rush. Moving mindfully. You can let the feet come back out in front of you. Readjust yourself as necessary. And again, you can move that bolster to the other side, knowing that we're moving to the second side now of deer twist or mermaid twist. So again, let's take a little bit of movement here in between the two sides. So just bringing a little bit of circulation and movement into the body before we work back into our stillness. And as you're ready, you'll let those knees land over to the left this time. So again, you can find mermaid and you can adjust yourself so you're patting the knees with either the mat or the blanket. Or if you'd like to open it up a little bit more into a 90-90 sit or deer legs, feel free to do that. Again, we're going to start with a twist. So you bring your hands around either side of the bolster. Now, if you've already noticed that that's too much for your body, then I want you to angle that bolster more forward. And you're just not going to twist as much. You can still come down, but maybe you won't have as much twist. So wherever you are, start to work yourself down. And again, we are looking towards the bent knees. So we're not looking the other direction. We don't want to take this twist in too deep. And you can pad yourself however you would like. Doesn't matter how the arms are. Just working into the second side of deer or mermaid twist. And again, as you're settling in, a reading for you. Again, this is from Journey to the Heart. And this chapter is called Discover the Power of Vulnerability. A new kind of power will emerge from vulnerability. The more honest we are with ourselves about how we feel and what we really think, the more power we will have. We may have once thought that being powerful meant not giving in to what we felt, what we thought, or who we really were. But that attitude didn't garner power for us. It caused life, the universe, to continue creating situations that would help open our hearts, help us to feel, help us learn the lesson of vulnerability. The sooner we become honest with ourselves, the sooner we can be honest with others. The sooner we become honest with ourselves, the more quickly we'll grow and move on to a new place. Become vulnerable, at least with yourself. Be honest about what you think and how you feel. Write it, speak it, feel it, release it. Then you will know where to go, when to go. What you are to do next will emerge naturally, quietly, and clearly. Try being absolutely honest. Reveal your most private feelings to yourself. It's a new kind of power, a different kind of power. It's a spiritual power, the power of opening the heart. Yogis, take one more nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. Again, slowly working our way out of this shape. Hands underneath the shoulders, no rush. Pressing yourself up. You can set the bolster over to the side, bring the hands behind you. Maybe lengthen the legs out long this time. You can readjust if you'd like, just bounce out the knees, maybe a bit of self-massage. Again, just a little restorative sequence with a little bit of movement at the beginning to kind of get things moving and to settle in. Really good for stress relief. I would definitely recommend if you have the time to take a bit of a savasana for yourself. So you could keep the blanket underneath the body or you could cover the body with it. I always recommend bringing a bolster underneath the back of the knees because oftentimes that's a little bit more supportive. And just lie down on the mat and take a little bit of time for yourself here. Take as long as you need. It's always nice to be able to have a little bit of a way to kind of close out your practice and to take some time. And it's always encouraged to take Shavasana naps. So thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this little series. Know that you have the choice if you have requests that you can send me a message. I'd be happy to make a video for something that you'd like to do or something you'd like to work on. The light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in you. Namaste, yogis.